We're going to create an animation that transitions between the walk clip to the idle clip. Go to File and Load from our Scenes folder DynoRigStance.fxs. Rig stance happens to be the first frame and last frame of the idle animation, so we'll just use the stance as our starting point. Next, go into Compose mode. We're going to load our walk clip. Right-click on the Clips tab, Clip Load from the Motion folder, walk.mcp. Click on the body keys, create a new track. This track will have walk in the pull-down menu. It's the only clip inside the scene. Insert that. So there are a couple things that we can do here that are going to be different from the previous tutorial when we created the transition from the idle to the walk clip. The walk was anywhere else on the timeline but frame 0. We need frame 0 to be the last frame of the walk, and then the ending of the animation is going to be the first frame of the idle animation. So on frame 30, let's deactivate the track so that we're back to our original rig stance. Go into Animate mode and create a keyframe for this character. Make sure you don't have selected items on. Pick something inside the group and make sure that you have the group key edit turned on. Tap the Enter key, make sure computed values is off, and let's create a key at frame 30. Now back into Compose. Turn on this track, go to frame 0, then back into Animate, generate a keyframe, use computed values, create the key at frame 0, click OK. So now go back into Compose. If we scrub back and forth, it doesn't look like we did anything. Deactivate the track though, and we have our transition from the last frame of the walk cycle to the first frame of our rig stance. So why is the track overriding this? Well, it's set to equal. That means it's just going to blow away any other values and make the values that it has inside the clip equal everything else on the timeline. If we set this to add, any values that are on the timeline will get added on top of the values that are part of the clip. In this case, our starting position here on this add is the same values as the position on the walk cycle, so nothing changes, and we get to see from our walk cycle to our transition. Do the same thing we did in the previous lesson. Let's do our timing to make sure that the transition doesn't move at a different rate than the walk. So we have it set to frame 30. So set the out to frame 30, and we'll play our walk cycle loop. And it looks like it's running a bit slow. So from here, back into Animate mode, we have Dyno body keys selected, have the Enter key. It's created at frame 12. We don't need to use computed values. Click OK, so we have a hold frame on frame 12, which makes our transition 12 frames long. So hit play again. He walks, and it looks like the speed at which he transitions back to the idle is the same speed that he's walking at, which is good. These are our key positions, our key poses. Now we can set the in at frame 0 and just work on our key poses here. Go to a left view. Let's pick up the back foot. Well, actually pick up the front foot, sorry. Front foot is in the back. So frame 12, so frame 6. Pick that foot up. Make sure Quartzes is turned off or you're operating in parent coordinates. I'm using the left mouse button to move everything around. So he stops. Let's create our passing position, multi-select our head and our hips. Turn on multi-edit. It goes up in the air. Then he hits the ground, and then he has to recover because he's stopping. So frame 12, let's say frame 20, he drops down and goes back up again. These are our passing positions. Let's change them to be a little bit cooler. Close the toes on pitch. Go to a front view. Rotate them in on heading. Grab the foot, move him in on X. Let's pick the hip again. he's moved over the center line and then drops. Let's bank that the same way we did previously. Left view, let's pick the spine, bank the spine back, and now our passing positions are set. Middle mouse click on the cells up at the top to set the keyframes for everything on this group. So now we can go back in, alter the passing positions a little bit, and put some in-betweens in. So on his way up, the tail goes down, it recovers just a little bit. Drags down. Let's play that one. Okay, a little too extreme here. Scale the values up at the top here. Okay. And never change the beginning or the ending frame because those are going to register with the clips when we assemble these together again in compose mode in later lessons. Let's go to the top view. See swings. Let's lag that behind. Okay. Switch to perspective view. I'm using the left mouse click. The Alt key to rotate around the scene. Let's go to the hips. Add in some extra motion on the pitch channels. So he's on his way up. And then on his way back down, so let's see, drag him down on frame 3, up on frame 9. He catches himself, so he goes back down, and then follows through. So we have a basic curve that's decaying. Go down the line here, go to pitch here. So it goes down, up, and then a decay. Go to the head. Make sure that we're not stretching the neck. Work on the pitch a little bit on his way down, back up and decay. Grab the hands, do the same thing. Multi-select the hands. I have multi-edit activated. So the hands lag behind, come back up, put down, and then they go through the same decaying motion as before. them back on Z. Keep them running like a pendulum. Let's check our work. Let's deselect some of those. Hit play. Now change the in. So as he's walking, he goes to stop. And that looks correct. So go into Compose. Let's create a new clip. We will call this clip Walk to Idle. It's using the current group and the motion. Click Copy. So now we have a walk clip and a walk to idle clip. Pick the walk to idle. Right click on the clips block to load up the menu. Save current. Name that walk to idle. And go File and save this scene as DynoWalkToIdle.fxs.